Articulation by Haley Woods and Nicole Palmer. Articulation is the act of creating a speech sound with one's mouth, tongue, lips, jaw, and all other organs that are used to create speech. All of the organs are referred to as articulators. This slide shows the typical development of sounds. Not all of these sounds are achieved to these exact ages, but on the next slide you will see that there are ages that each sound should be developed by, and if they are not present, then that is when it is considered an articulation disorder. As teachers, it is critical to know the typical sound development, so if you encounter a child that you are concerned about, you will already know if you should pursue an evaluation or if the child is still within normal limits. As mentioned in the last slide, these are the age ranges for typical childhood development of sounds. Not every sound can be expected to appear at an exact age. However, if the child is not producing a sound and he or she is out of the age range, it is time to determine if an evaluation is appropriate. So what is an articulation disorder? An articulation disorder is when a person has difficulty creating some sounds. It is not common that a person has difficulty with every sound, but depending on the severity of the disorder, several sounds can be affected, and those sounds vary from person to person. If an articulation disorder goes untreated, it can persist into adulthood, and it is extremely rare that the articulation disorders will go away on their own.
Articulation disorders fall under the broad category of speech sound disorders. A phonological processing disorder also falls under this category. As discussed earlier, an articulation disorder is difficulty producing certain sounds. A phonological processing disorder is when the child exhibits sound pattern errors past the expected age that these errors are considered normal. Articulation errors include substitution, omission, distortion, or addition of speech sounds. Examples of phonological processes include fronting, stopping, devoicing, and syllable deletion. A child can only be diagnosed with a speech sound disorder by a certified speech-language pathologist. A child may only be diagnosed with a disorder if his or her articulation errors or phonological processes extend past the age which these errors are a normal part of speech development. Some differences in sound production can be attributed to a dialect or accent and would be considered a difference, not a disorder. As a teacher, you can play a large role in helping to identify children you think may have a speech sound disorder and provide extra assistance for these children in your classroom. You should alert the school speech-language pathologist to students in your classroom who have speech that is more difficult to understand compared to the other students. The school SLP can evaluate these students for a speech disorder. After diagnosis, the SLP should provide you with materials, activities, and information on how to work on articulation with the child in the classroom. Let's review this presentation. Articulation is the process of how sounds are made using oral articulators in the mouth and the face. There is a way that children develop speech, referred to as typical speech development. Children may be diagnosed with a speech sound disorder if articulation errors persist past the expected age, outlined on the speech development slides. Speech pathologists diagnose the disorders, but teachers play a large role by helping to identify children in their classroom who should be assessed by the SLP and providing intervention activities in the classroom.